We finally got the leak specs of the Mavic 4 Pro, but there are a few bombshells. Was I right about the Mavic 4 Pro Cine version being cancelled? What about Apple ProRes? And will the Mavic 4 Pro actually get 16 stops of dynamic range? Well, I'll break it down for you in just a moment. But if you're serious about staying ahead of the latest camera gear, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel grow, and it keeps you in the loop. The Mavic 4 Pro does get a larger sensor than the Mavic 3 Pro. And the resolution? Well, it is going up to 100 megapixels. It's capable of 6K video up to 60 frames per second HDR, 4K video up to 120 frames per second. And the 70mm f2.8 telephoto camera, well, it has a 1 1/3 inch sensor with a resolution of 48 megapixels, and 4K, well, it can do up to 120 frames per second. The 168mm f2.8 camera uses a 1 1.5 inch sensor, a resolution 50 megapixels, 4K video up to 60 frames per second HDR, and 4K up to 120 frames per second. You also get D-Log, but there is no Apple ProRes. And these specifications pretty well match up to the leak specs that we received back in February. So what's new? Additionally, it offers an impressive dynamic range of approximately 16 stops, a feature typically reserved for cinema cameras, enabling it to capture stunning details, even high contrast scenes. And the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is one of those cameras that can do 16 stops of dynamic range, or as Canon says it, 16 plus stops of dynamic range, which likely means it's somewhere around 16.1 or 16.001, something like that. And as you can see here from the R5 Mark II, 16 stops of dynamic range is pretty impressive. However, independent tests actually showed that the R5 Mark II instead was able to do 13.5 stops of dynamic range. Still, what's remarkable here is that we're talking about the Mavic 4 Pro with a micro four thirds sensor. The R5 Mark II, well, it has a full frame sensor. If the DJI Mavic 4 Pro can get anywhere close to 16 stops of dynamic range or 13.5 stops based on independent tests, that's still a huge win. 13.5 stops of dynamic range would put it in, well, the top 10 cameras, including cinema cameras right now in terms of dynamic range. So that does work very well in various high contrast scenes, especially sunsets and sunrises. Now on to obstacle avoidance. So no surprises that we're going to have top, down, left, right, forward, backwards. But what we get with the Mavic 4 Pro is front-facing LiDAR. And this is significant because the Mavic 4 Pro now stands out in low light conditions, being able to use street light illumination to navigate using that onboard LiDAR to navigate down to 0.1 lux. But one important note here, it achieves omnidirectional obstacle avoidance at speeds up to 18 meters per second, at least in low light. The maximum takeoff altitude is 6,000 meters. I do have a question here. Is that AGL or ASL? And like those specs that we got in February, the maximum flight time is bang on at 51 minutes. I thought that those leaks that we got in February were a little bit suspect, but it turns out with all these validated specifications that we've got thanks to Jasper Ellens, yeah, they are pretty much bang on with a few slight deviations, flight time and defilters, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But all this information, the only area when it came to the sensor and the cameras is it didn't give us a full set of information. It was kind of telling the half-truth, but yeah, I'm really surprised at how accurate some of these leaks are. And DJI has a real big problem with leaks because stuff has been coming out fast and furious. So anyhow, without further ado, let's head on to the next set of specifications. I previously suggested that we won't be getting the Mavic 4 Pro Cine version, and Jasper Ellens now backs that up in his latest post. There will be no Cine version of the Mavic 4 Pro. This will definitely be a shock to some, but if we consider the specifications of all three cameras, the primary, secondary, and tertiary cameras of this Mavic 4 Pro and all the capabilities, ND filters and all this wonderful stuff, then maybe it's not a complete shock. But based on all the specifications we were getting for the Mavic 4 Pro, I can understand how some who are a fan of the Cine version were just expecting specs to be just even more impressive than the Mavic 4 Pro, but that's just not going to happen. And the ND filters that we were told about in February, well, they're still coming, just not right away. No electronic ND filters will be available at the launch date. However, they will be in the web shops, but not seen in the combos of testers and dealers. They are on the workshop's list though, so they will probably be available later in May. Now, the source in February did indicate that we would get anywhere between 2 to 6 stops. A couple of months ago, we said that the Mavic 4 Pro would be delayed until May, but we doubted the May 11th date that had been going around, and we were correct. According to Jasper Allens, because a good source of mine told me that the release date of the Mavic 4 Pro is now definitely set and confirmed Tuesday, May the 13th. The official teaser is coming on May the 6th. I actually heard that the Mavic 4 Pro was going to be announced on May the 13th sometime last week, but I didn't have the time zone, so that kind of left it up in the air. So 10 a.m. Chinese local time, 10 a.m. in the morning on May the 13th, actually works out to be 10 p.m. the previous day, May the 12th. It's that international time zone that kind of gets in the way, so until we know the actual time of the date, we don't know the actual date. So it's probably May the 13th in China, but are they announcing it at 8 a.m. in the morning? 10 a.m. in the morning, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, if it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon, May the 13th in China is also May the 13th here in North America. So that's one of the few things we're waiting for. Now, in terms of pricing, initially we were told that the price of the Mavic 4 Pro base unit itself will be, what was it, $2,250? Check here, $2,250. And the Fly More bundle would be $3,200. Now, the Creative Combo, which gets the new RC Pro 2 controller, well, it's a little bit more, and it was $4,400. That comes with 512 gigs. But here's the thing. When we got those leaks, there were, I think, a total of 20% tariffs that are applied. Now, we're talking about Chinese goods entering the United States. The rest of the world, I don't think you have to worry too much. But at this point, we really have no idea what's going on. We don't know if the price is going to hold, highly unlikely. We don't know if the tariffs are going to be rolled back in any way whatsoever. Possible, plausible, we don't know. Things are very fluid at this point. So at this point, I'm going to stick with these prices because it's all we have. But that's one of the few things up in the air, and that's one of the things I'm waiting to see. And I know you've noticed that I've got the smart pre-order links down below, and I've had them there for a while. Those are for B&H, Adorama, and Amazon.com, which all function in the United States. Again, the two things that I'm waiting to hear about is pricing, availability, announcement in the United States, because that is one of the biggest markets. And I know a lot of people in the US are looking forward to pre-ordering the Mavic 4 Pro when it comes out, probably the Fly More bundle. But if you're looking at, I think right now we're up to 145% tariffs, that's big. That would take, so the 4,400 unit would cost well over $10,000. I haven't been following the news an awful lot closely. I really don't care for politics. I've kind of stopped following the news since going back to, what was it, 2001, September 11. Shortly after that, I tune in once in a while, but I understand that things are in a bit of flux right now. So with, I don't know, a couple of weeks to go, we could potentially see something change there. So right now, and again, something else that could have happened. DJI, knowing that things might be going on, could have shipped a whole bunch of units to the United States ahead of the April 5th tariff announcement from the United States. So there is a possibility you might be able to pre-order these. So what I'm going to do, as soon as I know the exact time, I'm going to book a live stream. I'm going to schedule a live stream, and I'm going to cover the announcement live and provide you guys with the latest information along with my expert guest panel. I myself am looking forward to getting the Mavic 4 Pro, and I'd love to be able to try one out within the next couple of months, especially as I head off to Vancouver. That will be pretty impressive to shoot with the Mavic 4 Pro in that environment. Wow, that will be truly exciting. Yeah, so a couple of things up in the air, just seeing if I left anything out here. Yeah, no Cine version, May 13th announcement, could be May the 12th. Yeah, so yeah, that's really what we're waiting for at this point, right? We're almost there. We've been teased about this since October, with things really kicking off in January and February, so we're almost there. And I want to say a big thanks to all of you for watching this channel, supporting this channel. For those of you that are going to use my smart pre-order links to purchase the Mavic 4 Pro, a big thank you to you. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, a big thanks for my family, because quite literally, you're helping keep the lights on. You're supporting this channel, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day, a great week, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye now.